I never thought I'd see those words on my screen, "We need to talk." Coming from my ex-wife's sister, they hit differently. For simple words that would change everything I thought I knew about love, family, and second chances. If you're enjoying this emotional journey already, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt stories that remind us of the unexpected ways life can surprise us. The dating app notification glowed on Jake Mitchell's phone at 11:47 p.m. After putting his 7-year-old daughter Lily to bed hours earlier, he'd fallen asleep on the couch surrounded by half-graded papers. As a high school English teacher and single dad, these quiet moments were rare. "New match," the screen announced cheerfully. Jake almost swiped it away. 3 months on this app had yielded nothing but awkward conversations and first dates where he checked his watch more than he made eye contact. But curiosity won. When he opened the app, his heart stopped. The profile photo showed a familiar smile, one he'd seen at family gatherings years ago, in wedding photos, at Christmas dinners before everything fell apart. Claire Bennett. His ex-wife Rebecca's younger sister. Jake sat up straight, suddenly wide awake. Claire had always been the family wild card, traveling abroad, changing careers every few years, living with an unapologetic freedom that Jake secretly admired. While Rebecca had been structured and predictable, Claire was spontaneous and warm. They'd always gotten along well, too well, according to Rebecca during one particularly bitter argument before their divorce. "You like her because she's the fun version," Rebecca had spat. "No responsibilities, no commitments." That had been 3 years ago. The last time Jake had seen Claire was at the mediation for his custody arrangement, where she'd shown up to support her sister but had given Jake a sympathetic smile in the hallway. His finger hovered over the screen. Was this a mistake? An algorithm glitch? Or had Claire actually swiped right on him? Did she even know it was him? Before he could decide what to do, a message notification appeared. "Well, this is awkward." Jake laughed despite himself. Classic Claire, addressing the elephant in the room immediately. "Definitely wasn't expecting to see you here," he typed back. "Ditto. How's Lily? Growing too fast. 2nd grade now. Top of her class in reading. Like father, like daughter." Jake smiled. Claire had always paid attention to the details, remembering his passion for literature when most people just saw high school teacher and moved on. "How long have you been back in town?" he asked. 3 weeks. Decided to put down some roots finally. Got a job at the Children's Hospital. Child life specialist. That suits you. Thanks. Listen, Jake. We need to talk. Those 4 words froze him cold. The same 4 words Rebecca had used the night she told him she'd been having an affair with her colleague for 6 months. The night that ended their 8-year marriage. The night that transformed Jake from husband to single dad, trying to explain to a 4-year-old why mommy wouldn't be living with them anymore. Jake's fingers trembled above the keyboard. What could Claire possibly need to talk about? Had Rebecca sent her to deliver some message? Was this about Lily? "About what?" he finally wrote back. "About us matching. And about what Rebecca doesn't know." Jake's stomach dropped. What didn't Rebecca know? His mind raced through possibilities, each worse than the last. "I'm free tomorrow for coffee if you are," Claire added before he could spiral further. "The bean counter at 10, he suggested, naming a cafe far from both his school and Rebecca's office. "See you there." Jake barely slept that night. The past he thought he'd processed came rushing back. The pain of betrayal. The lonely nights. The fear that he wasn't enough for Lily without her mother. The gradual rebuilding of a life that now felt threatened by 4 simple words. The bean counter was half empty when Jake arrived 15 minutes early. He chose a corner table with his back to the wall, teacher habits die hard, and ordered black coffee that he didn't touch. When Claire walked in at exactly 10 o'clock, Jake was struck by how different she looked from Rebecca. Where his ex-wife was all sharp angles and measured movements, Claire moved with an easy grace. Her curly hair was shorter than he remembered, and she wore simple jeans and a green sweater that matched her eyes. "You look terrified," she said as she sat down, skipping hello. "Those 4 words have history," Jake admitted. "What doesn't Rebecca know?" Claire took a deep breath. "She doesn't know I've moved back permanently. She doesn't know I'm on dating apps. And she definitely doesn't know I matched with you." Jake felt relief wash over him. "That's all?" "Not exactly." Claire looked down at her hands. "Rebecca asked me to check on you and Lily when I told her I was visiting. She's worried about Lily since you haven't been dating anyone serious." Jake's relief transformed into indignation. "She's worried? She's the one who left. She's the one who moved to Chicago with Eric and started a new family. She sees Lily 3 weekends a semester and thinks she gets to have opinions about my dating life?" Claire winced. "I know. I told her that. But then I saw you on the app and I wanted to warn you that she's coming back to town next month. She and Eric are relocating here." The room seemed to tilt. "What? Why?" "His company is opening an office here. She'll be asking for more time with Lily." Jake gripped the edge of the table. "She can't just waltz back in after 3 years of minimum involvement and disrupt everything." "I know." Claire reached across the table but stopped short of touching his hand. "That's what I wanted to tell you. To give you time to prepare. And to let you know that I'm on your side this time." Jake looked up, surprised. "This time?" "During the divorce, I stood by Rebecca because she's my sister. But I've watched how you've raised Lily. I've seen your dedication when Rebecca was building her new life. I should have spoken up sooner about what kind of father you are." "Thank you," Jake said quietly. "That means more than you know." They sat in silence for a moment before Claire spoke again. "There's something else." "More good news?" Jake attempted humor. "I didn't just match with you by accident." Claire met his eyes. "I recognized you immediately. I swiped right on purpose." Jake stared at her. "Why would you do that?" "Because I've always thought you were one of the good ones, Jake. Even when Rebecca couldn't see it. Maybe especially then." She took a sip of her coffee. "I'm not suggesting anything inappropriate. I know the situation is complicated. But I wanted you to know that if you ever wanted to grab coffee again, just as friends, I'd like that." Jake felt something shift inside him, a door he thought permanently closed creaking open just slightly. "I'd like that too," he found himself saying. Over the next few weeks, coffee became a regular thing. They met at the bean counter twice a week, talking about everything from Claire's travels to Jake's students to Lily's latest art projects. They were careful to keep things friendly, both acutely aware of the complications lurking beneath the surface. When Claire suggested meeting at the park one Saturday so she could see Lily again, Jake hesitated. "Is that crossing a line?" he asked. "Maybe," Claire admitted. "But she's my niece, and I've missed 3 years of her life because of my own travels and because Rebecca made things so awkward. I'd like to know her better, regardless of whatever this is between us." Jake agreed, and that Saturday, they met at Riverside Park. Lily was initially shy around her aunt, whom she barely remembered, but Claire's natural way with children soon had her laughing. By afternoon, Lily was teaching Claire her elaborate jump rope routines while Jake watched from a bench, something warm blooming in his chest that he didn't dare name. "Dad! Aunt Claire can do double Dutch," Lily called, her face flushed with excitement. "Impressive," Jake called back, smiling at the way Claire gave Lily her complete attention, something Rebecca had always struggled with, her mind perpetually on work emails or social obligations. Later, when Lily ran to the swings, Claire joined Jake on the bench. She's amazing, Jake. You've done an incredible job with her. We've had our struggles, he admitted. There were nights I had no idea what I was doing. But you showed up. Every day. That's what matters. Their hands rested inches apart on the bench between them, neither moving closer but both aware of the proximity. Rebecca called me last night, Claire said suddenly. She asked if I'd seen you. Jake tensed. What did you tell her? The truth. That I'd reconnected with my niece and her father. She wasn't happy. I can imagine. She said I was betraying her. That there were boundaries I shouldn't cross. Jake turned to look at her profile. Are there? Claire met his gaze. Probably. But I've never been good with boundaries. The moment stretched between them, full of possibilities neither was ready to acknowledge. Dad! Watch me jump. Lily called, breaking the tension. When Rebecca arrived in town the following month, the carefully constructed peace shattered. She requested a meeting with Jake about adjusting the custody arrangement, arriving at his house on a Tuesday evening after Lily was asleep. You look well, she said, standing awkwardly in the living room that had once been hers. Jake nodded tersely. What exactly are you proposing, Rebecca? Now that we're back in town, I'd like to have Lily every weekend. And maybe one night during the week. Eric and I have a beautiful house with a room just for her. Jake clenched his jaw. You've seen her 12 days in the past year, and suddenly you want half the week? Lily has routines, friends, activities. She's my daughter too, Rebecca said sharply. Something you seem to remember only when it's convenient, Jake shot back. You can't just disrupt her entire life because you've decided to play mother again. Rebecca's eyes narrowed. Is this about Claire? Jake froze. What? Don't play dumb. She told me you two have been reconnecting. Did you think I wouldn't find out you're dating my sister? We're not dating, Jake said carefully. We're friends. Rebecca laughed coldly. Claire doesn't have male friends, Jake. She has conquests. And I won't have my daughter caught in the middle when she inevitably gets bored and leaves. Just like she always does. Jake felt anger rise in his throat. You don't get to disappear for years and then dictate who's in Lily's life. And you don't get to talk about Claire that way. So you are involved with her. That's not what I said. Jake ran a hand through his hair in frustration. This isn't about Claire. This is about you thinking you can pick up motherhood whenever it fits your schedule. Rebecca's face hardened. I'll be speaking with my lawyer about the custody arrangement. And Jake? Be careful with Claire. She's not who you think she is. After she left, Jake called Claire, who came over immediately. They sat on his back porch, talking in low voices while the babysitter watched TV inside. She's always done this, Claire said, wrapping her sweater tighter around herself in the cool evening air. Made me the villain in her stories. What did she mean, you're not who I think you are? Jake asked. Claire was quiet for a long moment. Before you and Rebecca got together, she was interested in someone else. Someone I was dating casually. When he chose me over her, she never forgave me. She's convinced I took him from her intentionally. Did you? No. But it didn't matter. In her mind, I became the sister who takes what's hers. Claire looked at Jake. That's why she was always so weird about our friendship during your marriage. And now she thinks history is repeating itself, Jake realized. Is it? Claire asked softly. Jake didn't have an answer. The custody battle turned ugly quickly. Rebecca's lawyer painted Jake as a struggling teacher unable to provide the lifestyle her new husband could offer. Jake's lawyer emphasized Rebecca's years of minimal involvement. Lily, sensing the tension, began having nightmares and clinging to Jake at drop-offs. Through it all, Claire remained a steady presence, bringing dinner when Jake was too exhausted to cook, taking Lily for ice cream when the tension at home became too much. She never stayed late, never crossed the line from friend to something more, though the possibility hung between them, unspoken. One evening, after a particularly difficult court appearance, Jake found Claire waiting on his porch steps. "How bad?" she asked. "The judge is considering her request for alternating weeks," Jake said, collapsing beside her. "If we can't reach an agreement, there will be a full hearing where they'll interview Lily." "She can't put Lily through that," Claire said, horrified. "Apparently, she can." Jake stared at his hands. "I don't understand how she can claim to love Lily and still put her through this." "Because it's not about Lily," Claire said quietly. "It's about winning." They sat in silence as darkness fell around them. "I should go," Claire finally said. "People will talk if I'm here too late." Jake caught her wrist as she stood. "Let them talk. I'm tired of living my life afraid of what Rebecca will think." Claire looked down at him, her expression complicated. "Jake, if this becomes something, it will only make the custody situation worse. You know that. So we let her dictate our lives forever? No. But maybe we wait until Lily is settled. Until the dust clears." Claire gently freed her wrist. "I'm not going anywhere this time. I promise." As she walked to her car, Jake felt both frustration and a profound respect for her restraint. Claire was putting Lily's well-being above what they both increasingly wanted. 2 days later, Lily came home from her weekend with Rebecca withdrawn and quiet. "Sweetie, what's wrong?" Jake asked as he helped her unpack her overnight bag. Lily looked up with eyes too solemn for a 7-year-old. "Mommy said Aunt Claire is trying to be my new mommy. She said you and Aunt Claire are going to hurt me like she got hurt." Jake felt a cold fury unlike anything he'd experienced before. "Your mom is upset right now, Lily. Sometimes grown-ups say things they shouldn't when they're upset. Are you and Aunt Claire going to hurt me?" Lily's voice was small. Jake knelt to her level. "No, sweetheart. Never. Aunt Claire and I care about you very much. And no one is trying to replace your mom." That night, after Lily was asleep, Jake called Rebecca. "How dare you put those thoughts in her head," he said without preamble. "She's 7 years old. She deserves to know the truth," Rebecca replied coldly. "The truth? You abandoned her for 3 years to build your perfect new life with Eric. Now you're back and can't stand that she loves someone else who actually shows up for her. That's the truth. So you admit you and Claire are trying to replace me." Jake took a deep breath, reining in his anger. "This ends now, Rebecca. Either we find a reasonable compromise, or I'll request that the judge review the text messages from the last 3 years where you repeatedly canceled your weekends with Lily. I'll submit the school records showing I'm the only parent who's ever attended a conference or performance. I'll fight you with everything I have." The line was silent for a long moment. "I just want to be part of her life again," Rebecca finally said, her voice smaller. "Then be her mother, not my enemy." Jake's voice softened slightly. "She needs stability, not a tug-of-war." After a long conversation, they reached a tentative agreement. Rebecca would have Lily 1 weekend a month and Wednesday dinners, building to more time gradually as Lily adjusted. In return, Jake promised to keep his relationship with Claire, whatever it might become, separate from Lily until they were certain of its direction. The next day, Jake met Claire at their coffee shop and told her about the agreement. "That's wonderful," she said, genuine relief in her voice. "Lily needs this conflict to end." "It means you and I need to be careful," Jake pointed out. "Take things slowly." Claire smiled. "I can do slowly. I've waited 3 years to tell you I had a crush on my sister's husband. I think I can wait a little longer to see where this goes." Jake nearly choked on